Still
Process.
okay. Okay.
Okay. We're on your Facebook, looking for you on Facebook.
All right. Good deal. little bit a little bit late. But
Okay. Here we go. We rolling.
but yeah, we can go ahead and get we can go ahead and get started and then let people roll in as we go. How about that?
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. So here, let me end this on the Instagram. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Speak Your Life podcast. My name is Andre. I'm your host, and I'm so excited that you are here today. We always are looking to do exciting things, always looking to have exciting guests. And today's special guest in the building is, man, there's so many things about her. She's a mother, she's a wife, she's a doctor. She's so many things and more, and that is Dr. Billynda McAdoo. And so, I just want to say welcome. Thank you so much for being here. First of all,
Glad to be here. Thanks.
yes, yes, and I always like to ask everybody, like, how are you feeling out of 10? Like 1 out of 10, how are you feeling?
I'm a 10.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Great.
okay,
I
yeah.
have no complaints.
Good, good. Yeah, it's almost Friday, so it's almost towards the weekend. I'm not sure if that changes anything for you as a doctor, but it's an exciting thing.
Yeah, I'm off this weekend, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome, awesome. So, before we get into things and we'll let people, roll in, what are, we always like to talk about in the podcast. Well, first of all, I would like to say, what are you ready to speak your life? That's the question.
I suppose so. We have to go.
All right. So we always like to ask everybody in the show, you know, there are two things that Mark Twain talks about that are most important in life: the day you were born and the day you knew why. So if you could talk us through that journey of what it was like, you don't have to give the exact year or anything like that, but if you could give us like the era, for people to get the idea of like what was going on, what kind of music was popular, what was going on in the culture back then, and give us that journey as to how you became who you are today, and and like stumbling upon your why on why you were put on this earth.
Okay. Well, I was born in 1977. There's no shame in saying that. I'm
That's right.
proud to be alive, happy to be here. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I am the youngest of three daughters, so I'll start just with family. Family is a big part of my journey. So I'm the youngest of three girls. My oldest sister is 12 years older. The sister right above me is 6 years older. So there's
Mm.
quite a gap. And then
Yeah.
my parents, I think they kind of transitioned through being parents to each girl. And by the time they got to me, I really just had one major rule, and that was stay out of trouble. And that's
Yeah.
pretty easy. So, my dad always told me, be a good citizen, do the right thing. And that's pretty much guided me throughout, stay out of trouble, do the right thing,
Mm-hmm.
good citizen. So
Yeah.
I grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Graduated
The
from Little Rock.
Rock.
Yes. Graduated from the historic Little Rock Central High School. That's where I met
Mm-hmm.
my husband, but we didn't date
Nice.
then. Went to
That's
Harvard
right.
for undergraduate studies and then back to Arkansas for medical school and anesthesiology residency. And then I came to Emory right out of residency and started working as an anesthesiologist. And that was 2008. So I've been
Wow.
there 13 years. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's been quite the journey. A lot of challenges, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of successes. I feel pretty um, definitely blessed and
Mm-hmm.
definitely privileged
Yeah.
because I had a very stable home life, completely supportive family. Like I can't think of anyone in my family who has ever said anything negative to me. So
Yeah. Yeah. Wow,
yeah,
that's
how
awesome.
many people can say that? And I don't take
Yeah.
it for granted. Like pretty much
Mm-hmm.
everyone just pushes me, propels me forward.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of love and support.
Nice.
And even in the process, beyond family, like my friends are completely supportive as well. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's great to have a circle of people that consider your success their success.
Yeah,
So if I could tell people anything, you can't choose your family. You get the family you were born into, but you
that's
can choose
right.
your friends and surround yourself with people who cheer you on and feel like your success is their success. And so,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need any negative people in your life.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love hearing that because, yeah, people don't realize how much how much importance the idea of support is, and having community and having people behind you to just support you, and just be that wall where you can kind of like be, if you're falling back, they're able to catch you. They're that wall, they're that net to be able there to back you. So that's really important, and I think especially with you being a black female and being a doctor, I bet having that support was really important as well, because it's really good to see black female doctors out here doing their thing. So that's really great. And for the people in the audience that don't know, we are cousins. So her husband, as she mentioned earlier, Mackie, he was in episode 10 of this podcast. So definitely check that out if you haven't checked that one out already. It's a great episode. So
Yeah,
there he is. He's
I'm
also a Dr. Mac. There, we got two Dr. Macs in the house.
it's going down. Now I'm checking everything out on Facebook, and
Yeah.
I don't know how to move the closed captioning. We may have to reposition to get the board on, but we're all good.
Mhm. Hey, we all good, man. Just share the word without all the family out there and make sure they tune in. But yeah, so what would you, and I was going to ask you this, what would you say as an encouragement for if you were looking back your 20-year-old self, or your teenage self, like what would be one word of encouragement you could share with maybe your 10-year-old self, because there are people out there that are just like maybe looking to be young professionals out there, going to med school, or just work in the field that you're in. How could you encourage them?
If I were speaking specifically to my 10-year-old self, or even myself just 10 years ago, I
Hmm.
would say believe in yourself as much as the people around you believe in you.
Yeah.
I never felt like there were things I couldn't do, but sometimes I made things seem like a bigger challenge than they were. Like getting ready to
Hmm.
take my boards, I remember telling my grandmother that I was worried about it and
Yeah.
that everyone doesn't pass. And she looked at me and she's like, "Baby, you always come out on top." And I thought, poor grandma, she doesn't even know. Like she was so disappointed. But she was right,
Yeah.
come out on top. But I didn't believe in
Mm.
myself as much as she did. So if you have people that are like, you've got this, listen
Yeah.
to them because they're
That's right. Yeah, yeah, they are right. They are right. They sometimes family members and other people that are loved ones, they see stuff in us that we don't even see in ourselves sometimes. So
right.
yeah, yeah. But that's great. That's great. So um thank you for that, that intro, and for people to kind of get to know a little glimpse of who you are. And we like to as you guys can see, we're doing things a little bit differently today, than the usual format, and that's okay because it's good to switch it up. And we wanted to do, something different. We're like, all right, why don't we do some charcuterie boards or something like that? That's not what we usually do on the podcast, but I think it was, a good idea just to connect with you guys and just do something different, especially with the fall coming up. We got November around the corner. We got the holidays coming around, Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that stuff. So we wanted to give people opportunity to um, see, what are some ways to be creative with how you snack, and what are some ways to be creative with how you make food and have fun with your food and stuff like that. And people, I know people love your Instagram, especially. You've gotten so many people reaching out asking if they could repost your stuff. And so yeah, it's like, if you haven't already, make sure we're going to leave a link, guys, below, so you can check out Billynda's Instagram. So you'll be pleased. You'll be pleased. So
And I'll
without
I'll tell you, Andre, just a bit of
Mhm.
the bridge between like who I am and what we're about to do is that I've always been crafty. My mom is
Mhm.
very crafty. Like she makes things every day. She's creative and
Mhm.
is always trying things out on us. My dad would say she would experiment on us, new
Yeah.
recipes, but she was always into it. And so I picked up on
Mhm.
that, and I've always been very creative. Like even in college, like my college roommate and Mac from college have cards that I made them, cardstock
Mhm.
that I put together. So this is not new to me. Like I've created pretty much my entire life. It's just kind of the
Mhm.
projects have changed as I've evolved. So I went
Yeah.
through a period of making very creative lunches for the boys that were very themed.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah. I remember that.
yeah. And then I transitioned probably within the last year or two into making kind of festive displays of food, charcuterie boards, veggie trays, things that kind of deal with food art in a different way.
Mhm. Hmm.
Part of being true to who you are. I have a STEM career, but I have
Mhm.
a very creative hobby. And so some
Mm.
people feel
Mhm.
like those are opposing, but it's
Yeah.
just who I am. Like my
Wow.
friend told me once, she showed some pictures of my stuff to someone and they were like, "Oh, is she a stay-at-home mom?" She's like, "No."
Mm.
And so people have an idea of who they think you are, what you should be based on where you are and what you do.
Yeah.
But it's really okay just to be whoever you are. That's when you're going to be the happiest. If
Mhm.
people think it's weird that I do
That's
this,
okay.
then it is what it is.
It is what it is. So, what you started doing this like I guess kind of seriously, like how long ago?
What do you mean by seriously?
Well, I guess like posting on the gram seriously.
Oh, I mean, I've been posting since Charlie was in pre-K, probably is when I started posting his lunches. And that's what I
Okay.
started with on Instagram.
Okay. Okay.
And he's
Yeah.
15 now, so that's at
Yeah.
10 or 11 years.
Wow. Yeah, because I think maybe it's just me. I started noticing like it was I remember the lunches from like a long time ago, but I think there was like a switch to like charcuterie boards specifically. Like it maybe it was it the last year or two or
Probably within the last 2 or 3 years, maybe
okay.
2018 is kind of when Charlie moved to middle school
Yeah.
and Billy was in elementary. I would still send him some lunches, and then now
Hmm.
he's in middle school, so I don't send the lunches. Not creative,
Yeah.
they still eat, but I
I
don't
bet
send.
all the kids were like super jealous, like having like, man, they're looking at their lunch like, I wish I had one like that.
They, if they're kids, they'll eat whatever. They like school lunch too, so
Yeah.
it's mostly for me. It's a hobby that they benefit from.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I wish my mom did that for me, but it's
Well,
all
you
good.
wish you did it for her, and then
Yeah.
you want her doing what she
Both.
wants to do.
Yeah, 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 both. Yeah, but yeah, that's awesome and I'm sure they definitely appreciated that as well. So,
I think
and yeah, so what is on the menu for today?
so. Today we'll be making a kind of dramatic and spooky charcuterie board.
All
Okay.
right.
So I'm starting with this rectangular platter. Sometimes I use a wooden board for this one. The colors I'm kind of going off of are whites and creams and
Mhm.
very dark colors
Yeah.
um, to bring in some of the kind of Halloween spooky vibe. Okay, so I usually start with any containers that I'm going to place onto the board. And the
Okay.
first one I have is just a little ramekin with a fig jam. So this is going
Mhm.
to taste really good spread onto a strongly flavored cheese. And
Yeah.
so I have that there. And then
Mhm.
you can see it has lots of nice texture, lots of visual interest. And it tastes
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
good. Next, I
Nice.
add in the cheeses. So the cheese I'm using today is manchego. So this is
Manchego.
Spanish goat's cheese, no, sheep's cheese. It's
Mhm.
hard and it has a waxy rind. So
Hmm.
I'll show you how I cut it. I'll just
Okay.
bring up the cutting board. And the waxy rind is not edible. So
Mhm.
cut that off and discard it. And then the next few cuts the goal is just to have them similar in size so that when you display it, it presents nicely. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Just give it your best effort. Mine are not equal in size. As I say, I'm a professional, but I'm not a professional at this. So give yourself some practice.
Professional enough. Like you've had like what, Zoe's Kitchen reached out to you before? Like,
oh yeah. I've been reposted by a few different entities.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna place the cheese and I'm gonna alternate which side I put the waxy rind to.
Okay.
And the way it's cut, it's gonna stand up on its own.
Nice.
So I'm just gonna use about 6 of my pre-cut slices here, just in alternating directions. Okay, or maybe I'll use 5. That's good. And you'll see I edit as I go. Okay, so that's my cheese that I plan to use. And then next I'll bring in the fruit. And this is a smaller board since we're making this on a weeknight. Maybe it's enough for 2 or 3.
Yeah.
You can definitely amp it up a notch if you have more guests. So I have these moondrop grapes. They look pretty dramatic, right?
Wow.
So I'm going to place those here and at each corner.
Nice.
Okay. And then I also have some blackberries that fits right in with the colors we're going for. And I'm going to place them near the grapes. So now we have like 2 different textures with a similar color. So you want to deal with different textures, different colors, think of different things that can still give you the same vibe, but have a slightly different look.
So do you like, I guess like you go for usually contrasting colors usually?
Usually, right? So on a typical board, I probably wouldn't place these together, but I'm going for the dramatic look. And 2 things that are still similar in color, different textures, I think gives me the look that I'm going for. So I've gone around here, and I kind of come around the backside there. And I'm looking up above to make sure it's presenting the way I want it to. Okay. So we've got some of our fruit on the board. And I want to bring in some olives. I usually include something like a pickle or an olive to give you a savory taste. And these look kind of spooky because it looks kind of like an eyeball.
That's right.
So we've got coming in right around here. And then I may rearrange them a little bit. But that's just fine. If you see something you want to change, you don't have to feel tied to it. The thing about charcuterie that's stressful is you really don't have to cook anything.
Yes.
So you're just taking prepared items or fresh items and arranging them in a creative way. Okay. Now I want to bring in the crackers, and I'm using these. I think these are cranberry and pistachio crackers.
Yeah.
They have a lot of texture. They have kind of a sweet and savory vibe.
Yeah.
So layer those in the back.
Nice color to them too. Nice little brown, adding with the green and
brings in the fall colors
mm-hmm.
and more of the texture. And then let's go ahead and work with some of the charcuterie. So charcuterie is a French term for cured meats. So it can be salami, prosciutto, things like that. But it can also be the name of a board that you place it on or a shop that sells it.
Yeah.
So here, I'm going to use salami, and I'm going to fold it into fourths. So fold it in half and in half again to make a little kind of fluted triangle. And when I fold the second piece, I'm going to kind of sandwich it in. So coming in opposite directions. And that way, when you place it down, it has more of a ribbon or a curved look.
Wow.
Do a few slices here and place them up front. See how that looks? That looks good.
Wow.
Then I'm just going to work with a few more slices here. And I'll place these between the pumpkin and the fig jam. Okay.
Nice. And as you're putting that together, like I think I would say my first encounter with I guess prosciutto or anything like that, because I grew up, not eating meats or any, like we grew up not eating like pork or beef, but when I first kind of explored and I got outside and went to college and beyond, when I had prosciutto, I was like in love. That stuff was so good, especially working as a flight attendant. You know, sometimes I'll work first class flights and serving that to the people, and you get the nice little blue cheese with your grapes and the crackers. And I'm like thinking that was only for like the rich people, and so
Yes.
I was like, this is what all the bougie people be eating. So I was like, let me give it a try, and then I became bougie after that.
There you go. Each one teach one.
Yeah.
And so if you have like additional space, nuts are nice fillers. And like you talked about not eating meat initially, you want to make sure you have guests that you have enough options for everyone that's at your party. So
That's
you
right.
want to make sure you have a good blend of things for vegetarians, things for vegans, so that no one feels left out. Because if you're healthy, you want people to feel welcome. That should be pretty basic. So
That's
here
right.
it's come together quite quickly, but I do have garnish. Sometimes I use fresh herbs as a garnish, but today we're going to use these little spider rings because we're
Oh,
making
wow.
this themed
Okay.
tray.
Add a
So I'm
little
gonna
decoration to
put
it.
some spiders in. So ahead of time, I just rinse them off to make sure I'm not adding anything that's going to endanger my guests or my family.
Yeah.
Yeah. First, do no harm. That's like the medical oath. First, do no harm. And that's a good oath in general. Just first, do no harm.
Hopefully nobody has acrophobia. Or no, not acrophobia, but what is it? No, arachnophobia.
Arachnophobia, yeah. So yeah, I have a sister that is probably gonna call me and be like, "Why did you do that?" She's gonna be quite unhappy with this production. Let me see what
man.
add in one. How about right up here with the olives? So there we have it. It comes together just in a few minutes.
Wow.
If you have people coming over, you could put this together 10 or 15 minutes before they got there.
Wow, that's really awesome.
See if I can pull it closer to the camera.
There we go. We got the grapes, we got the blackberries, we got the cheese, got the meat, pumpkin, olives, the jam, crackers, and we got the spiders to top it all off. That's
Yeah,
how you
nice
do it.
garnish there.
How long does it usually take when you're making more, I guess, complex charcuterie boards? How long does that usually take?
It's really not more than a 10 or 15-minute process, because what I'll usually do when I try to buy my produce the day of so that it's fresh, especially berries, because once you wash them, you've got like 24 hours, the clock is ticking. So I try to buy the produce the day of. I try to get things that look good, whatever looks fresh. I try not to go with too many preconceived ideas, because you're going to be the store is going to dictate what you have, or the market, wherever you shop for your produce. So I get my produce, I bring it home, I go ahead and wash it and leave it out to dry so that it's not like wet on the board, because you want to pre-wash everything so that it's ready to go once your guests are there. So I do that when I get home from the store. So when I'm putting it together, it's really the only thing I'm doing is slicing the cheese and arranging things.
Okay. Yeah, nice and easy. Like, I guess the preparation takes more time than the actual like placing everything together.
Yeah, just having kind of a plan in your head of where you want things to go. But I pretty much always start with the container in the center, which might be hummus, it might be honey, it may be a jam. I may have 2 or 3 of those in the center, depending on the size of the board. And then cheese I usually put towards the corners. Here I just use 1 cheese because I don't want to be wasteful tonight. And this is probably all we're going to eat tonight. And I fill in the fruit, the crackers, and then I come in with the filler, which is usually like nuts or candies to fill in the center. And then the last thing is your garnish, which is usually fresh herbs, but today we have classic spiders.
Wow, that's awesome. What would you say? Do you have like maybe names of each different charcuterie boards, like maybe based off a theme or something like that?
I don't have particular names. I usually do have an idea of what I'm going for. Most boards, if I'm doing just like a board, let's say I'm taking to book club, I do try to include things from 4 color groups. So this is kind of a special case. But usually I like something from the red group, something from the orange yellow group, something from the green group, and then something from the blue purple group.
Yeah.
So here we probably hit on about 3 of those. The figs are kind of orange here in this preparation. Then we have blue purple, but we don't have a lot of red. I mean, the salami, but usually I use fruits or vegetables for the colors. And so that one gives you a very nice presentation. It's going to always look put together. And then it also gives you, a good array of phytonutrients. So each color group has its own, specific nutrients. And so like when your mom tells you to eat a rainbow or make sure your plate is colorful, that has a lot of value, not just to be, visually appealing, but also to be more nutritious.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So it's good to have. It's the best combination is like having where it's like it looks good, but then also like it tastes good and it feels good and it's like nutritional. I think that's the best.
Yeah.
Combining all those together into one
Absolutely.
thing. Yeah, it's good to have healthy snacks too. So
Right.
yeah, and so also like we're like you do classes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I teach
and
classes on Zoom for people that want to learn how to put together a charcuterie board or a tray. A lot of the classes I did were during the holidays, so there were likely a themed board, like a Christmas board, or I think we did some fall boards and some Valentine's boards. But yeah, that's
nice.
something I do offer. Usually it's a group of friends that want to get together. I've done some conferences that want social activities for the attendees. I've done apartment complexes that are doing things for their resident, life activities. Just any group of people that want to get together and do something different.
Yeah. So, where okay, so where can people contact you like as far as like your Instagram handle so they can reach out if they're like, "Hey, I really want to join one of your classes and I'm really interested. I saw this live stream and I definitely am interested in doing a class." Where can they find you on
Yeah,
Instagram?
they can send me a direct message on Instagram, and my Instagram is at Billynda MC. So my first name and then the first 2 letters of my last name all
Okay.
together. Yeah.
All right. Cool. So, as we wrap things up, we like to ask everybody in the podcast, what if life is like a house, what does your house stand on and why?
So we're speaking of foundations. That to
hmm
me, sounds like a foundation. And my foundation stands on my family and my friends
hmm
because they really pour into me and support me and lift me up, keep me grounded.
Yeah.
And that would be it. Yeah. Family is everything. That's our text group. My family's text group is called Family is Everything.
That's right. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, yeah, thank you for that. And we have the last question is question of the day. So,
Okay.
question of the day today is if there was any person out there, it could be celebrity or anybody that you enjoy seeing on the Food Network or just anywhere to do, if they were like, hey, we want to do a charcuterie board with you, who would it be and why?
Who would it be? I mean, I would love to host President Obama and Michelle Obama. That would be
Yeah.
love to spend, an hour with them doing something creative. I think they would be a fun group of
Mhm.
students there.
Oh yeah. Michelle, she does seem like she would be into that creative stuff. I think I could see that.
Yeah.
That would be
I
cool.
think people find they're more creative than they thought. Once they get going and they start, putting things down, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I think people realize that they haven't tapped into all the creativity that they have.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So, yeah, definitely appreciate you sharing your talents. Because sometimes people like, oh, she's a doctor, but oh, wow, there's more. There's more. So, there's always more than meets the eye with people. So, I love it when people share like their crafts or like maybe they secretly do art or secretly do music, and we wanted to share that with other people to encourage them to also realize that okay, maybe you're a doctor, maybe you're a lawyer, or maybe you're president of the United States.
Yeah.
There's more than just your profession or your position or title. So
Right.
we're so thankful that you're here displaying that and sharing that with people, encouraging with your presence. So yeah, thank you again. And we definitely, I had to say this real quick. I had to do a shout out to my Braves. We're, we're all living in Atlanta, and we had to give a quick shout out to the Braves, man, because tonight is a special game. If they win this game, well, not if, but when they win this game tonight against the Dodgers, they will be going to the World Series. First time since 1999.
It's time.
It's time for Atlanta to get another championship since the Falcons can't do it. So, anyways, that's a whole nother podcast for another time. But anyways, thank you guys so much for joining. We really appreciate you for being a part of this episode, for being a part of the Speak Your Life family. If you have not already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit follow on our Instagram page and follow us on any streaming site where you do audio streaming, whether it be Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And make sure you follow Billynda as well, so you can get your charcuterie board. Somebody said Dr. Billynda rocks. That's right, she does rocks. Oh yeah. Hey, we got the other McAdoos up in the building. Oh, hold on, that's family right there. Jamie and Norel, what's up, y'all? So again, thank you again for being a part of this, and thank you for joining. We really appreciate that. And we'll definitely guys, follow her, make sure you connect and get your charcuterie board going today. So anyways, have a good one, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.